hearing anyone talk about my favorite subject, me. I understand that some of you here today may not know much about Down syndrome. Let me let me explain. When my body was first forming, when the first two cells divided, each of them had one one extra chromosome. People like me tend to be a little shorter because our arms and legs are shorter. Our faces are a little bit flatter because our cheekbones and noses don't stick out from our faces as much. All that adds up to a person who is a little bit uncommon. In my case, uncommonly handsome. I am simply thrilled at the turnout today. As many of you know, I have received a little notoriety recently for imploring Congress not to be one of the countries like Iceland and Denmark, where it has become government policy to encourage the elimination of Down syndrome through abortion. My testimony went viral on the internet. It has been translated into over a dozen languages, and 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 it has been viewed by more than 160 million people. Some people have asked me, "What's next, Frank?" I am proud to announce to you that as of today, I am a candidate for the U.S. ambassador to Iceland. Okay, I know that the president appoints ambassadors, but wouldn't you love to see those officials in Iceland have to treat a man with Down syndrome with some respect? Even if I don't succeed in becoming ambassador, I am planning to charter a plane full of folks with Down syndrome to fly to Reykjavik in 2030. We could just walk around the country saying, "We're back!" Enough about those folks. Today is a celebration of life and love and respect. I tell audiences all the time that one of the great gifts that people with Down syndrome bring to the world is that we are an unusually powerful source of happiness. Seriously, a recent Harvard-based study determined that people with Down syndrome, their parents, their siblings, and those close to them are happier than other people. Moreover, their families are more stable. The greatest canard about Down syndrome is that it provides lives that are marked by suffering. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, here comes the part where I tell you about my life and what a wonderful ride it is. If it sounds like I'm bragging, it's because I am. Okay, here it goes. This is my life. I was born in a log cabin deep in the Ozark Mountains. Well, really, I was born in a hospital in Fayetteville, Arkansas, but that log cabin thing sounds so presidential, don't you think? I lived with my family. I went to school with the neighborhood kids. I competed in sports wearing my school colors. I was allowed to take drama classes with the common kids. I acted in school plays. I learned to communicate my thoughts and dreams. I learned to fight for the right to be treated like everyone else. I have become a spokesman for others with intellectual disabilities. I have spoken to crowds as large as 10,000 people. I have appeared on television and radio many, many times. After Ann Coulter referred to President Obama as a retard, I engaged in an internet debate with her that lasted for over 2 weeks and went viral. I was interviewed on radio and television all over the world. My story of those events appears in a book called Stand Up that has won two book awards and has become a bestseller on Amazon. In 2012, the Canadian Broadcasting Company chose me along with Malala Yousafzai as one of the world's most extraordinary, ordinary people. I have always thought that the best part is that they started with the premise that I am ordinary. Hey, I have been to the East Room of the White House twice, and I didn't have to jump the fence either time. I was actually invited. I was honored at a White House dinner. That night, I met Katy Perry, who sung for us. I was 6 feet away from her as she sang, "Baby, you are a firework." She was so hot. I auditioned for and won a lead role in a movie about bullying, forgiveness, and acceptance. That movie is called Touched by Grace. By the way, it's available on Amazon, and I get residuals. Because of the movie, I got to walk the red carpet at the Emmy Award show in Hollywood. That was really cool. And the ladies were really hot. By the way, I have never been as happy as I was the summer we shot the movie. It was incredibly hard work. A day of shooting usually lasts about 16 hours. It was hot. It was exhausting. It was repetitive. It was wonderful. Oh yeah, and the actresses were so hot. 2 years ago, I got a chance to be on the Emmy-winning TV show Born This Way. If you watch the show when it starts up again this year, you might see someone you know on there again. Please don't post that. Please don't post that I said that. It's kind of a secret. Since then, I have been a guest lecturer at Duke University and spoken to medical professionals wherever I can. I am determined that doctors in this country have a more updated view of life with Down syndrome. Last week, I brought this message to the United Nations Committee on Human Rights in Geneva, Switzerland. I think I made some difference for them to hear it from a man with Down syndrome. As wonderful as all this is, we must remember that we have miles to go and promises to keep. There are still those who would portray our lives as lives of suffering. To them, I would just like to say, do I look like I'm suffering? To moms, dads, and grandparents out there, let me leave you with some piece of advice. Expect competence, not failure. Expect joy, not suffering. Expect to be amazed, and you will never be disappointed. Thank you for being such a good crowd. Thank you.